Hello. Wait, goddammit, did you guys hear it? Fuck, I think I started too early. Maybe. Anyway, alright, hello everybody! Just in case it didn't get through. Hello, Zarmagus, Olga, Void Dweller. Welcome back to Chaos Head motherfucking NOaH! Well, last time was so epic! Oh my god, I have a minor bit left of my sore throat, but otherwise it's getting better. Hello, Zarmagus, Olga, Void Dweller, Fastow, welcome back. Oh my god, last time, Takumi was at his lowest point. He talked to Shogun and finally awakened his D-sword and proceeded to kick ass because he was all out of fucking bubblegum. He destroyed all the mind control shit and he took down the fucking psycho nurse who was actually the new gen killer, or one of them at least. Hello Zash, welcome to the stream. Hello T. Oh my god, that was so fucking epic. And fucking Remy was revealed to also be a delusion. And so yeah, wow, that is really interesting. That is really interesting. I wonder if the real Remy is even still alive. Hello Keko, welcome to the stream. Yeah, as you can probably hear, my voice is still a bit scratchy. Sorry about that. But it's I'm feeling a lot better than last time. So, what we need to do now, where? Ah, jeez. Oh boy. Now they have to go and rescue Nanami. Hopefully she hasn't completely destroyed Remy in a D-sword battle. I was standing atop a body of water. Incredibly clear, transparent water. I'm assuming this is Remy. It was shallow, reaching only my ankles. But it was not cold. Intermittently, the waves whispered in my ears. Oh no, this is Takumi. God damn it.
I was tightly grasping the handles of a wheelchair. Shogun, no, the real Nishijo Takumi, was right before me, his head adorned with his knitted cap. He sat ever so slightly hunched forward in his wheelchair. There wasn't a single thing surrounding us. Neither shells buried in the sand, nor seabirds elegantly soaring through the sky. Nothing so expressly emulative of the sea could be seen. There were no signs of life, only the blue sea and the crystal clear sky.
Wait, what? Oh god damn it! This is Remy? Oh fuck. Thank you, Olga. I hate it when they don't reveal who's speaking. Especially if the game isn't gonna try to get you to question, if that's part of the story where you don't know who's speaking. The terrain was completely flat all around me, with the horizon stretching as far as the eye could see. This place was not the real world.
Before long, I will be dead.
Together with the sound of breaking waves, I heard Shogun's voice. From where I was standing, I couldn't see his expression. The tone of his voice didn't carry any particular feeling of lamentation. In reality, his words felt like they were simply casual, passing remarks.
If you look at this body of mine, I think you'll understand.
Small, wrinkled, and withered away. All of his hair had fallen out. Oh, God.
It is an illness from within.
僕の体の成長は発症した10歳の段階で止まってる。
Oh god. That is so fucking sad.
It first began at the age of 10, when my physical development halted.
そして老化して、
And then I aged.
Was he aging prematurely? That illness was supposed to be rare, affecting only 1 out of every 8 million people. Progeria?
10歳って。
No, this is Takumi! It started when you were 10? A gruesome scene etched into my memories began to rise to the surface.
あのバス事故の3ヶ月ぐらい前だよ。僕が発症したの。
Really? Before the... Interesting. So it was before the bus accident.
It was about 3 months before the bus accident. That was the onset.
Hello, Mystery Theater. Welcome to the stream.
バス事故は君が
The bus Oh, sorry. The bus accident. Did you...
そうかもしれない。あの時はまだ自分の力についてほとんど自覚はなかったから。
I'm not truly sure. At the time, I still wasn't fully aware of my powers.
病が発症するよりずっと前。それこそ物心ついた時、僕はギガロマニアックスとしての力を使うことができた。
Long before the onset of my illness, or as long as I could remember, I was able to use the powers of a gigalomaniac.
I wonder, if he diluted up Takumi, did he make it so Takumi's body would not decay due to power overuse?
それが普通のことだと思ってたよ。
I believed it to be normal.
意識的にしろ、無意識的にしろ、僕はこれまで何度も力を使ってきた。
Whether consciously or unconsciously, I repeatedly made use of those powers.
That's horrible. It's so sad. He would have no idea.
だから僕の存在としての矛盾が大きくなりすぎちゃったんだ。
And because of this, the contradictions in my existence grew too large.
青い背中から聞いてるだろ。
Always Senna told you about this, didn't she?
粒子とともに追生成される反粒子はディソードにストックされていくんだ。
They are produced in tandem with particles, or antiparticles, which stock up in the D-sword.
反粒子は数学的に言えば過去へ向かうものだから。
Given mathematically speaking, that antiparticles are that which approach the past.
ストックすればするほどギガロマニアックスには現在の状態とのズレが発生し、
The larger the amount stocked up, the larger the gigalomaniac's gap from their present state.
やがてその矛盾により存在としての自己崩壊へ至る。
Hello, Saya. Welcome to the stream. And if not corrected, these contradictions will eventually lead towards one's self-collapse as an existence. Does that mean the D-sword could possibly, like, fire an antimatter beam or something? As he spoke, Shogun didn't move an inch in his wheelchair. What was he looking at? Could he even see at all?
力を使えば使うほどこの病は進行しちゃうんだ。
Takumi, maybe could you possibly do an Uno reverse and fix Shogun's power, fix Shogun's body with the delusion? Could you possibly cure his disease with the delusion? It seems like the delusions can do anything.
The more I use my powers, the more this illness progresses.
Oh, there we go.
Can't you just heal yourself with your Gigalomaniac powers?
力を使えば病は進行する。端的に言えば、力を使ってもプラスマイナスゼロってことさ。何も変わらない。
Well, maybe Takumi could do it then.
If I use my powers, the illness progresses. In essence, plus and minus make zero. Nothing changes.
Right, I know that, Zash. I do know that. But if he fired an infinitesimally small amount in a railgun-like, with a railgun-like projection, then it could be an incredibly powerful weapon. Gamma ray burst is the strongest power in the universe, aside from a black hole. So even like an infinitesimally small amount would be absolutely devastating.
Nothing changes.
どうして
Why?
どうして僕みたいな肝タのヘタレ野郎を作ったの
Here we go.
もっと強くて行動的でかっこいいイケメンにすればよかったの
I was wondering this the entire time.
Why did you make an otaku freak loser like me? You could have made someone stronger, cooler, better looking. Some proactive alpha, I don't know.
人を一人しかもギガロマニアックスの力を使える人間を生み出すのは簡単なことじゃなかった
Creating a person, and one who can wield the powers of Gigalomaniac at that, is not such a simple task.
君を生み出したんですね1年近く昏睡しちゃったくらいだよ
Creating you put me into a coma for close to a year.
So that's why he only just started contacting him.
僕は未完成だったってわけ
Ooh, he can go even further beyond.
So what?
I'm just incomplete.
だからこそ君はとても人間らしい
And that's what makes you so very human.
フォローしなくてもいい
Oh my god.
Yeah, you don't have to try and make me feel better.
本心だよ
I'm being honest.
I click my tongue. I really did hate this guy. Takumi, you haven't yet realized it. You can control who you are. I hope that he realizes this at the end. That he can decide who he is. He doesn't have to be that if he doesn't want to. Because right now, the feeling I get from what he said is that he doesn't like being that way. He sees it as a bad thing. The way he talked about it, at least before. I hope he realizes he doesn't have to be that way if he doesn't want to.
I really did hate this guy.
リミにはいつも力を使うなって怒られたよ
Rimi always scolded me for using my powers.
彼女は君を助けたいんでしょ
She was trying to help you, wasn't she?
リミの忠告に従うわけにはいかない。
With that said, I can't obey her warnings.
今の危機的状況は僕の IR2 がきっかけなんだから。
My IR2 was the impetus for the current critical situation.
IR2. That strange scribble on the back of my essay.
IR2 はある科学者の目に留まり、やがてNOZOMIテクノロジー社によって研究が始められた。
God damn it. How did that guy see his fucking school paper? Like fucking hell.
IR2 caught the eye of a certain scientist, and eventually it allowed NOZOMI technology to begin their research.
それがプロジェクトNOaH。
That being Project NOaH.
言ってみれば人工的にギガロマニアックスの能力を発生させる装置。
It is a device which artificially generates the abilities of a gigalomaniac, so to speak.
僕が計画に気づくことができたのはリムと出会ったからなんだ。
Because I encountered Rimi, I was able to realize their plan.
彼女がひどい拷問を受けていたのはそのプロジェクトの一環だった。
God. Every single one of the Gigalomaniacs is like a tortured existence. My God. All of them were. Right, I get that, Mystery Theater, but it seems like he doesn't like that aspect of himself. Like, if he, like, enjoyed it, but he literally seems to genuinely despise it. Like, he sees it as a bad thing. Which is really sad, because, like, it would be fine if he liked being that way, but it feels like he really despises it.
One part of Project NOaH was their cruel torture.
ノアのシステムを効率化するために必要だったのがコード散布だ。
Oh yeah, what is code? Is it like a kind of special Gigalomaniac DNA or something?
NOAH's system requires code samples to increase its efficiency.
ギガロマニアックスが力を使う過程で放出する
Ah, I see.
特殊なノウハウ。
They are unique brainwaves emitted by gigalomaniacs in the process of using their powers.
それを手に入れるためにのぞみの社長ノロセはリミに過酷な拷問を加えた。
God. Did the real Remy die?
To obtain them, the president of NOZOMI, NoaH, tortured Rimi severely.
強烈な負の感情を抱くときギガロマニアックスは力に覚醒し理想度を獲得する。
Oh no. So that's why.
At a time of intense negative emotions, gigalomaniacs awaken to their powers and acquire their D-Sword.
Once again, I remembered Senna's words.
バイオリズムの上昇によって中脳変影系ニューロンのドーパミンが過剰分泌されたとき、理想度は現れる。
As biorhythms climb, the neurons in the midbrain limbic system excessively secrete dopamine, and one's D-Sword appears.
それは危機的な状況や興奮、悲しみ、憎しみ、笑いなど人それぞれだ。
Depending on the person, this could come from feeling threatened, excited, sad, hateful, or happy.
ドーパミン分泌量が多ければ、それだけ観測しやすくなる。
The higher the amount of dopamine secreted, the easier it becomes to observe.
君が僕にちょっかいをかけてきたのもそのため。
Okay, Shogun, I think now you can clear the air about Suwa. That it was Suwa who did all the worst shit.
Oh, damn it. That's why you kept coming after me? Harassing me? For that?
君を覚醒させるためにだ。
Yes. To forcefully awaken you.
ごめん。
I'm sorry.
Come on, Shogun, you gotta tell him about Shogun.
Remy and I weren't the only ones. There were others who had undergone severe mental or physical torture because of Project NOaH. Ayase, Senna, Kozupi, and even Nanami. Cruel trials have been laid out for all of them, also they could become gigalomaniacs.
IR2 から生み出されたNOaHは僕が自分の手で止めなくちゃならない。
IR2 gave birth to NOaH2. And I must stop it by my own hands.
でも僕はこんな体だ。満足に動くこともできない。
But this is the body I have. I can hardly move at all, let alone enough to destroy NOaH2.
それに僕のコードサンプルを欲しがる望みから狙われるようにもなっちゃって。
Moreover, NOZOMI has targeted me, coveting my own code sample.
That was to say nothing of how he was hospitalized at YEAH Tokyo General Hospital, a place which had hidden ties to the NOZOMI group.
だから身を隠さなくちゃいけなかった。
That's why I had to go into hiding.
幻の病室のアミーちゃんか。
Ami-chan of the Phantom Hospital room.
あそこに入ってこられたのはリミだけだったよ。
Remy was the sole person capable of entering it.
僕は身動きが取れなくなって、それで
And because I was no longer able to move about, I
僕を作ったのか。
Made me. Shogun weakly nodded.
リミには君を消すように何度も言われたんだ。
Remy repeatedly told me to erase you.
命を削る行為だからやめろって。
That I should stop. That what I was doing was whittling my life away.
僕に残された命は長くない。力を使わなくたってあまり差はないんだよね。
But the life I have left isn't much as it is. Whether or not I use my powers makes very little difference now.
His voice was deeply serene. He had a certain sense of wiseness to him. Perhaps it was one you could only get from living out your days under a death sentence.
それに君が覚醒して力を使えるようになれば僕の命は持たないだろうか。
Oh no.
As well as this, once you awakened and used your powers, my own life could no longer be maintained anyway.
No!
僕と君は一心同体っていうこと。
Wait, really? Oh no. So the real Remy has to be alive if, like, delusions die if the person who deluded them dies. You mean you and I are one?
そうだね。
Really?
Yes, in body and soul.
でも一つだけ約束。
But you have to promise me one thing.
もう妄想はしない。
No more delusions.
Eh?
Okay?
タクの妄想力はと ても強いから。
Well, I kept my promise. Your delusions are far too strong.
妄想をすればするほど本物のあなたの命が削られていっちゃうんだ。
The more delusions you have, the more your lifespan of the real you gets whittled away.
If I tried to keep my promise to Remy, I couldn't go help her. Even if I could, I wouldn't be able to do a thing.
So yeah, they're like stands, but not like Nen. I see. Because Nen is like one of the few things that does last even after the person dies.
It wouldn't matter what I tried. They'd turn the tables on me in an instant.
君の命はあとどれぐらい持つ？
How much longer do you have?
きっと今日か明日まで。
God damn it!
Presumably. Until today. Perhaps tomorrow.
そこまで。
That soon?
Well, I mean, the Doomsday Machine is going to be activated soon. So...
I was stunned. I hadn't expected him to have so little time left.
僕が覚醒しちゃったから。
Is it because I awakened?
気にしなくていいよ。君の覚醒は僕にとって本望だから。
You don't need to worry. Your awakening is exactly what I've been seeking for so long.
君が死んだら僕はどうなる？
If you die, then what happens to me?
君は僕と一心同体であると同時にリアルブートされたことによって現実の人間になった。
You are one with me in body and soul. But at the same time, the fact you are real booted makes you a real human being.
生まれ方は特殊かもしれないけど君は人間だよ。
Your birth may not have been traditional, but you are still a human being.
僕が消えれば君は助かるよ。
If I disappeared, could that save you?
無駄だよ。せいぜい寿命が数日から数週間伸びるぐらいじゃないかな。
No. The most it would give me is an increase in lifespan lasting from a few days to a few weeks.
でもそんな愚かな選択肢を選ぶのはやめるんだ。
But you mustn't choose such a foolish option.
君にはノアツを破壊してほしい。そのために力を使うことを遠慮しないでほしい。
I wish for you to destroy Noah too. And I wish for you to have no restraint in using your powers to do so.
言われなくても分かってる。
You don't have to tell me. I know.
君に遠慮するほど僕はお人よしじゃない。
I'm not so charitable as to hold back for your sake. Shogun's shoulders shook faintly as he laughed. Making him laugh was the last thing I'd meant to do. So that annoyed me.
君が目覚めてくれてよかった。
I'm so glad you've awakened.
勝手な話で迷惑かもしれないけど、あとは君に託す。
As selfish and troublesome as this may sound, I leave the rest to you.
Sorry. Suddenly, the feeling of the wheelchair's handles disappeared. Before I knew it, the wheelchair he was sitting in began to leave me behind. As it moved, it almost seemed to glide across the surface of the water. Its two wheels cut into the water, making waves as they turned. I had no intention of following him. Instead, I absently watched him go.
僕の役目は終わった。
My role here has ended.
勝手だね。僕に丸投げ。
Maybe you could do like use the last of your strength to like in one final battle. If you have to. I would say I would want to know if Takumi could heal you. If you can't heal yourself, maybe Takumi could heal you. Or another Gigalomaniac who hasn't really used their powers all that much.
Wow, that is selfish. You're seriously gonna dump it all on me?
少し疲れちゃって。眠らせてよ。
I'm just a little tired. Let me rest a while.
He turned to me from his wheelchair. As usual, I couldn't read his expression, but his voice showed an intense urgency. He's cooking up something.
時間がない。急いで。ノロセはノア2を本格的に稼働させた。
So yeah, what I think is going to happen is Takumi and Rimi and possibly Nanami are going to take down Narose and NOaH 2, while the other girls are going to take down Suwa.
There's no time. Narose has moved NOaH 2 into full-scale operation. You need to hurry.
こうなったらノア2を直接破壊するしかないんだ。
Now that it has come to this, NOaH 2 must be destroyed directly.
頼んだよ。
I'm counting on you.
And then, as if embraced by a cloud of mist, he began to disappear. The very colors of this mental world slowly began to fade.
君に頼まれる筋合いなんてない。
You don't have the right to count on me.
僕自身が決めたことをやるだけ。
Hell yeah, Takumi.
Anything I do, it's gonna be because I myself wanted to do it.
The sound of the waves became more distant. Just like Rimi had once, I burned this perfect crystal clear sky into my memories. And then I gently closed my eyes. Holy shit, the destruction has already started. A reporter on the radio was reading the news with a grave tone.
現在までに確認された死傷者の数は233人ですが、この数は最終的に3万人を超えると。
As of this moment, the confirmed number of casualties is 233, and the final total is expected to go well over 30,000.
気象庁の発表によりますと、今回の地震の規模は震度7、マグニチュードは 7.8 と関東大震災に匹敵する規模です。
As per the announcement made by the Meteorological Agency, the recent earthquake had a seismic intensity of 7 and a magnitude of 7.8 on the Richter scale, a size comparable to that of the Great Kanto earthquake.
渋谷では建物の一部が倒壊し、大規模な陥没も発生している模様です。
A number of buildings in Shibuya appear to have collapsed, and a large-scale cave-in has emerged.
首都高渋谷線が高架の倒壊により全線通行止め。
Travel through the Shibuya line of the Shuto Expressway has been suspended, and multiple sections across the entirety of the elevated railroad tracks have collapsed.
公共交通機関では山手線など全線が運転を見合わせています。
In regard to public transportation, all lines, the Yamanote line included. Static mixed in with the news until eventually, the reporter spoke no longer.
ダメだわ。また聞こえなくなった。
Piece of junk. We lost her again! Momose shook and hit the old radio with her hand, and on realizing she was getting nowhere, she let out a heavy sigh.
古いから使い物にならないわね。
Yes, it's too old to do us any good. Oh, there they are. Oh no! What happened to Bond? Is he just dead? Oh god. Forcing a smile, she looked to the side. She could see the figures of Kishimoto Ayase and Kusunoki YEAH walking along, expressions of fatigue coloring their faces. Now we just need to get Kozufi and Senna. Both of their uniforms were covered in soot, making it clear how laborious the trek here had been. And yet, the great swords they were holding, their D-swords, did not have a speck of dust on them. Instead, they shone with an unclouded, brutal radiance. I love that phrasing. After the earthquake, YEAH and Ayase had walked back to Shibuya from Yoyogi, went straight to the Frisia office, and joined up with Momose. Oh god, they didn't even realize Bon was there. God damn it! Waiting for the missing Bon to return, the three had stayed near the office throughout the night, even though the great earthquake had put the building on the verge of collapse. They remained all the same. But in the end, Bon had never shown. Momose suggested leaving Shibuya immediately, something Ayase clearly took issue with.
グラジオール目覚めたのに他の口説き師と合流しないと
Gladio has awakened. Make haste, for we must unite with the other Black Knights. Ayase asserted her feelings of urgency by tugging on YEAH's hand, waiting to reach the rubble-laden heart of Shibuya as quickly as they could. In the end, YEAH and Momose had no choice but to follow along. It was 7 a.m. Not even an hour had passed since the sky had first begun to brighten. There was not a single trace of the refreshing morning air. The utter mayhem that had been cloaked in darkness was slowly being exposed by the rising sun. And right now the three girls found themselves in the midst of it. The city of Shibuya had been transformed into the very picture of hell itself. Roads were torn to oblivion, asphalt protruded from the earth. A number of buildings had collapsed, their debris scattered in broken chunks along the sides of the road. Nearly every window that could be seen was broken. And a massive billboard had fallen from its usual perch atop a building's roof. One would not have to walk far to see countless corpses left undisturbed, littered among the chaos. For every body Momose witnessed, the same act played out inside her head, one in which she clasped her hands together in pity for their demise. But there were just far too many. It was only partway through that she could not take it anymore, realizing the only way to retain her sanity was to ignore them outright. The remaining people they would occasionally pass by had lost all expression, existing only to stagger aimlessly through the streets. A group of men had come together and tried to help survivors buried beneath the rubble. But it did not seem like there was much they could do without heavy lifting equipment. Momose took another glance at what YEAH was holding in her hands. A D-sword. Ayase had explained them to her. Much like magic, they were swords that could be taken out of thin air, which Bon had told her had been true. And yet, YEAH seemed only shocked and bewildered about possessing one for herself. Question, Kishimoto-san. Could I get one of those things? Ayase, walking slightly ahead of the group, paid no attention to Momose's call. The expression on her face made it clear her patience was wearing thin.
このディソードを持つ人はあなたたちを含めて全部で7人いるっていうこと?
Count the two of you. You said there were 7 people who could wield these D-sword thingies, correct?
そうよ
Yes.
お 他の人たちがどこにいるのかわかるの？
Alright, so then do you know where the hell they are?
わからない。
I do not.
だったら
Then how do you...
感じるのよ。意志。
I can feel it. The will.
こっちで間違いないわ。
There is no doubt this path is the one we must take. Isay was effectively a brick wall. With no other options left, Momose repeated the same words for what felt like the 1,000th time.
今むやみに歩き回るのは危ないわ。ひとまず安全なところに避難するべきよ。
Now isn't the time to be aimlessly strolling. We really should find somewhere to take shelter for the time being.
ダメ。
No.
時間がないの。
There's no freaking time for that!
もしかしたら他の黒騎士だったかしら。その人たちだって避難場所にいるかもしれないでしょ。
What about the Blake Knights, what they called? Perhaps they're already at the evacuation site, huh? Huh?
そうですよ、岸本さん。私も避難場所に行くべきだと。
I think so too. Kishimoto-san. That, we should be heading to the evacuation site. Ayase suddenly came to a halt, as though Yua's backing had possibly made some sense to her. She narrowed her eyes. And then she looked beyond the rugged Dogenzaka roads that no car could traverse.
いた。
Over there.
え？だって何？
Huh? Over where? Oh, shit. There's Nanami. Oh boy, I hope she's still not under my control. Oh god. I gotta say, I think Nanami has the coolest G-sword. She's got like a whole Wolfwood thing going on with that. At the end of Ayase's gaze was a lone girl walking away from the station. She was wearing a Suwa Academy uniform that was far more tattered than either Ayase's or Yua's. And with only her left hand, she was holding an enormous cross-shaped sword to her chest. Her gait was markedly unsteady. It looked as though she could collapse at any moment.
大変。
Oh no! Momose's body jiggled as she ran towards the girl, towards Nishijo and Nanami. The D-sword Nanami was carrying had caught her eye. Instead of prying it open to satiate her curiosity, she focused only on supporting the girl's petite frame.
大丈夫？よく頑張ったわね。今病院に連れて行ってあげるから気をしっかり持つのよ。
Are you alright? You've done a wonderful job hanging in there just far. But right now we need to get you to the hospital. So just hang on a little longer, okay? Nanami's eyes responded in blank confusion to Momose's words of encouragement. I thought she said... I was like... The very first thing that popped into my head, I thought she was saying bagel. I was like, what the fuck? Like, is she just hungry or something? No, she's trying to say bangle, yeah. Bangle.
なんて言ったの？
Huh? What'd you say? You want a bagel? I got some bagels for you. My bangle. Where did it go? Both you and I belatedly ran up behind Momose. God damn it! That's a serious moment! I gotta get this out of my head!
この子、西条くんの妹さんです。
Wait, that girl. She's Nishijo-kun's little sister.
そう。
I see.
黒騎士の資格があるのもうなずけるわ。匠の妹ね。
Her being Takumi's little sister. This speaks to her qualifications as a Black Knight.
二人ともこの子を運ぶのを手伝って。なんとか病院に連れて行かないと。
You two, help me carry her! One way or another, we need to get her to the hospital. It hurts! Nanami groaned in pain. My right hand!
右手？
Your right hand? Amose inadvertently glanced toward Nanami's right hand, gasping in surprise when she did.
だってひどい。こんな。
What manner of cruelty? How could this happen? Huh? YEAH and I were not able to grasp why Momose was so distraught. While the bandage over Nanami's right hand was indeed stained with blood, it did not seem to be that serious of an injury. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, so is it there or not? However, in Momose's eyes, Nanami's hand had been severed from her bandaged wrist. Though medical measures had been taken, it was still an open wound. With a blank look on her face, Ayase attempted to grab Nanami's right hand, but her outstretched hand passed only through thin air. Wait, so it's not... So she didn't real boot herself a new hand, or... What's going on? Like a holographic image, Nanami's fingers lacked any substance. A drop of blood trickled down from the red-stained bandage and fell into Ayase's hand. Huh? A delusion. Oh! Okay, so she snapped out of... Okay, so she's not under hypnosis anymore. That's good. Rimi-san came to save me. Rimi-san? As in Sakihata Rimi-san.
知ってる？
Do you know her? She's one of Nishijo-kun's friends. YEAH had always held a suspicion that Takumi was the true new gen culprit, so she knew a fair amount about his background. This also extended to those that would frequently come into contact with him. Therefore, it was only natural for her to have conducted investigations on Nishijo Nanami and Sakihata Rimi. In contrast to YEAH, Ayase abandoned her typical aloof expression, grimacing at the mere mention of Rimi's name. Sakihata Rimi, too, is one of 7 Black Knights. Huh? Is that really true? Yeah, is the volume okay for you guys or not? Or is it too low? Okay, good, thanks. Thanks, Mystery Theater. Ayase recalled yesterday's incident at the hospital. She could remember being addressed by Rimi's apologetic voice. Kishimoto-san. Please, stay away from Taku. I can't let him awaken. Have you no self-awareness? Even as one of the Black Knights? I can handle this myself. I'll figure it out! Hell yeah! Even though now we know Rimi's a good person.
その思いはでもそれは大いなる意志の望むことじゃない。
It is so very beautiful, what you hope to accomplish, but it is not what the greater will desires.
私も望んでいないわ。あなた一人に全てを背負わせるなんて。
I've never heard of nor played Deathmark. I don't know what that is. Void Dweller.
I do not desire it either. You must not bear all of this on your own.
黒騎士云々の話は今は置いときましょう。
Let's just put this talk of Black Knights on the back burner for now.
とにかく早く病院に連れて行かないと血が止まらないわ。
She needs medical attention this instant. She's losing a lot of blood. I mean, she's been losing it for like several days now. Momose gently placed her handkerchief on Nanami's open wound.
すごい熱だし、顔色も悪い。急がないと。
She has an awful fever, and I can see her going pale. We need to hurry.
お兄に会いたいよ。
Big bro, I want to see my big bro. Tears trickled from Nanami's vacant eyes. Right at that moment, something happened. Oh shit, fuck. In an instant, the highway they were standing on collapsed with a deafening roar. They all lost their footing, helplessly entering freefall at gravity's mercy. To them, it was like they were falling into the deepest, darkest, lowest circle of hell. Losing herself in that illusion, Momose raised a scream so loud it betrayed her age entirely. Is it an illusion, though? Or is it real?
When I came to,
I'm assuming this is Takumi.
dark clouds covered the sky overhead. The dark night had come to an end before I knew it. There wasn't a shred of blue sky in sight. I was hit with a wave of depression. The sky could not have been more gloomy. Countless sirens from ambulances and fire trucks blared off in the distance. A multitude of helicopters were in the sky, circling the city like flies. My head was racked with pain, like someone was putting a jackhammer to it. I felt even worse than after the last earthquake. I tried to remember what happened before my memories had cut off. The sky turning white, Shogun mentioning the third melt. I ignored my headache and stood up, only to lose all words. And there we go, the disaster. The usual scenery was entirely absent. It was like a scene out of the end of a Millennium thing that everyone had been freaking out about almost a decade ago. Shibuya was on the verge of collapse. Traffic lights, roadside trees, and buildings had all fallen to the ground. The Jumbotrons, the most iconic part of Scramble Crossing, really, had cracks rippling through them and were entirely silent. Stairs leading down to the subway were buried beneath the rubble of their own ceilings. The guard area around the Yamanote line had fallen apart, and the railway had been ripped to shreds. More people than I could count were lying on the ground. Blood and guts clung to the scattered debris.
Some remained motionless, some moaned in pain, some screamed for help. Some were covered in dust, crawling on all fours without a care as to how it made them appear. Some only cried, tightly cradling another motionless body in their arms. I could smell all the blood, the rusty smell mixed with the stench of something burning. Everything was covered with a thick odor of dust. Far in the distance, plumes of black smoke rose like smoke signals. This was the power of NOaH 2. It was horrifying. It was already on the scale of a weapon of mass destruction. I now understood why Shogun wanted to put an end to this. Come to think of it, where was Shogun? He's probably off doing his own, Bruce Wayne thing. When he came back to myself, he surveyed my surroundings. There was a bent wheelchair lying pretty close to me. Oh no! And right beside his delicate frame was lying there. I ran over to him in panic and lifted him up. Hey, can you hear me? Say something! He didn't react. Not even his inner voice said anything. Well, he's got to be alive, because Takumi is alive. Oh God, was he dead? I put my ear to his mouth. As faint as it was, he was still breathing. But he was still unconscious. I tried hitting him lightly on the cheek a few times, but to no avail. Oh, where is it? Where is NOaH 2? Takumi, you gotta use your power to find it. If I didn't know where it was, there was no way I could make it in time to save Rimi or Nanami. I should have asked him that when I had the chance. I told you! Takumi, I told you last time! You should have asked him for directions. Clicking my tongue, I took my phone out of my pocket. It was off, and despite my many attempts to get it working, it stayed that way. It was nothing more than garbage now. Aside from Shogun, who else would know where to find it? Think, goddammit! I didn't have time for this. While I was wandering around doing absolutely goddamn nothing, that Narose guy could be ready to kill Rimi at any moment. And who? Who was someone I could trust? Someone who knew about NOaH 2? Homeless man again! You gotta find this dude.
You're all special beings.
Senna's dad.
And the most special among you. Is the boy who birthed whose eyes are those eyes? Hatano Ise.
Senna's dad. One of the founding members of Project NOaH. A person who is nowhere to be found right now. Not to mention I never even met him before. Wait, it was possible we passed each other on the street before, actually. Kozupi had told me all about his homeless lifestyle with the guy who was wandering around Shibuya. You have to find him. Hopefully he's not dead too. Surprisingly light body of Shogun on my back. Oh, he is Yoda! There we go. I mindfully made my way through the debris. I didn't have a clue where Hatano-san was, but I had no choice. I had to find him no matter what. As light as Shogun's body was, it was still nearly 20 kilograms. It was hard enough just carrying him around Shibuya. It was even worse factoring in all the uneven roads. It wasn't one for exercise. I mean, hell, my daily routine consisted of me just sitting in front of my computer all day. I considered finding a way to get Shogun to the hospital, but with Shibuya the way it was, I doubt I could even get an ambulance. Even the gentle hill that was Joganzaka was doing its best to drain all my energy. I could barely breathe, and my whole body was gushing out buckets of sweat. That's like 50 pounds, Void Dweller, 45 pounds. Wiping the sweat. Sorry. Wiping the sweat off my forehead, I took a quick break to catch my breath. Woo! I say! Now there's no way I could even attempt to sing with my throat still on the mend. Reaching to the sky, an altar of commandments. For blasphemy toward God, it speaks of the painfully harsh rewards. Believe in those eyes. Listen when they tell you to walk. Doing so one by one, linking hand in hand within the darkness. Suddenly, I could faintly hear someone's voice. Someone was singing. Their voice rife with loneliness, but not without hope. Their soothing voice washed over me. I'd heard the singing somewhere before. Back at that concert, even in spite of the glimmering lights overwhelming my vision, and the blurring sound shaking the entire airtight building, I'd still managed to take it in. But this time I was right in the middle of the road, where I couldn't see a single sign of life. And yet in the center of this collapsed city dominated by death, I could hear her. Ayase! Alright, he's gonna find a lot of them. Now we just need Senna and Kozabi to show up. And we got the whole team ready to go save Raimi. I put Shogun down and surveyed my surroundings once again, but the only people I could see were the collapsed corpses strewn about the city. I did my best to avoid looking at them, instead focusing on trying to find Ayase. Where the hell was her voice coming from? The road in front of me was wholly caved in. Looking at it, the hole it created was incredibly big. There was definitely a subway tunnel beneath it. I didn't want to believe it at first, but even so, I peered down from the edge of the hole. There was a pretty fair amount of rubble piled up at the bottom. And that was where Ayase had fallen. She fell? Oh god. Takumi. Hold on, I'll save you. I jumped down into the hole. I didn't stick the landing whatsoever, instead of basically slamming into the rubble while just barely avoiding falling over. Icy's leg was pinned under a pretty sizable slab of concrete, stopping her from moving. I really did give it my best effort, but moving it just wasn't possible on my own. I am not the only one. There are 3 others, including your sister. Nanami's here? What the hell was she doing here? Hadn't that Narose guy kidnapped her? Nanami! Nanami, are you there? Ignoring the pain in my legs, I stood up and yelled out for my sister, but I got no reply. Looking around me, I only saw one other person besides Ayase. It was a pretty hefty woman lying face down on the ground. While she wasn't moving, she only seemed to be unconscious. Nanami and one other person were absent. Maybe they'd been buried alive. I had to find them right this second. Oh god, I hope he's not gonna freak out when he sees YEAH. My eyes shot to the top of the hole. There was enough dust to make anyone hack their lungs out. Beyond that, I could see the circular shape of the sky above. I thought about Shogun, who had laid up on the road up there. I remember what Rimi had told me. The more delusions you have, the more the lifespan of the real you gets whittled away. But I couldn't hesitate here. I drew my D-sword entirely from thin air.
Come on. Consciously avoiding looking at her leg, I sat down near Ayase and peered at her face. I stared into her eyes, refusing to look at anything else. That should do the trick. Time for a delusion. A strong one. A really strong one.
綾瀬の足の上にある瓦礫は大きなものじゃない。数は多いけど、一つ一つは小さい。
The rubble on your leg isn't that big. In fact, it's actually just a bunch of small pieces smashed together.
重くない。簡単に足を引っ張り出せる。
I don't know, I really want to, because I don't know. I like making Takumi sound more confident when he has the D-sword.
It isn't heavy at all either. Nothing is stopping you from pulling your leg out from under it.
他の二人も助け出せる。
And the other two can be saved just as easily. Me and Ayase. We only needed mutual recognition between us two gigalomaniacs. Because once we had that, then our delusion was sure to become reality. Come on, delusion driver, activate! Out of nowhere, Ayase smiled in relief. She gently stroked my cheek with her fingers.
Ooh, my god! Woo!
グラジオールの導きね。君がここに来てくれたの。
Hell yeah, Taku! 'Tis the guidance of Gladio. The fact that you came here. I blink nervously. Yeah, is this the Ayase route? I'm not sure now.
Exactly as I deluded it to be, the large slab of concrete pinning Ayase's leg to now turn into a heap of smaller pieces. Pushing away some of the debris, Ayase slipped her leg right out. I really hadn't expected that to go so damn well. Starting to move, she massaged her ankle. Luckily, her injuries didn't seem all that bad.
綾瀬の歌が聞こえたんだ。それに導かれたんだよ。
I wonder if this is the Ayase route.
I could hear your singing, Ayase. That was what guided me here. Really.
よかった。続けてきて。
I see. It gladdens me that I continue to sing.
Helping Ayase up, I stood and took a look around.
ナナミは
Where's Nanami? I still didn't see any signs of my sister.
Had my delusion failed after all? Her was Nanami already. I began to feel anxious. Is anyone there? I heard a voice. Looking in the direction of it, I saw a hand reaching out from a gap inside the rubble. And so I took that hand, grabbed its slender fingers, and peered into the gap. Uh-oh, spaghetti ears. That's you? Oh God! Please, Takumi, don't think she's evil, please! Huh?
Huh.
The gap was almost like a tunnel, and in that tunnel was a familiar-looking girl wearing glasses. Felt like it had been ages since I'd last seen YEAH. Yeah, you hadn't seen her since the beginning of the story. I wonder, did someone delude that hole or something? Did NOaH too delude it? Somehow this hole, well, it appeared out of nowhere. It's strange. Until only a few moments ago, I couldn't move at all. The girl averted her eyes from me with a face that seemed almost apologetic. Hold on tight! Huh? I tightly gripped YEAH's hand, and then I pulled as hard as I possibly could away from the back gap. Ayase helped as well. With the two of us pulling YEAH out with all our might, she managed to break free from the rubble without too much trouble. That rhymed. Thank you so much. She was covered from head to toe in dust. A few pieces of concrete were tangled up in her long hair. But even with all of that, YEAH seemed completely uninjured. And now, Nanami. Leaving YEAH with Ayase, I searched for Nanami. Given YEAH had managed to break free, I could only assume my delusion had actually worked.
And if that was true, then Nanami should have been in some rubble somewhere that I could yank her free from. And lo and behold, that was exactly the case. As I searched tons and tons more rubble, I managed to catch a glimpse of Nanami's face through a crack in the debris. Nanami! Nanami! I called to her, but she didn't respond. She must have fainted. Reaching out, I went to touch her shoulder, but hesitated.
The delusion, Nanami. Oh, yeah. Who did that? Who did the delusionary Nanami? A memory from yesterday flashed into my mind of Nanami vanishing into particles right before my eyes. No, this has to be the real Nanami. Gathering my resolve, I grabbed her by the shoulder, or more specifically by her blouse. I could actually touch her, I could actually feel her warmth. Okay, so she's alive. Just like I had with YEAH a bit ago, I pulled her out with all my strength. Unlike Ayase or YEAH, however, Nanami's uniform was stained with blood. Her hand especially was covered in red. Regardless, I laid her down on the ground, then went to check her breathing. She seemed to be in pain, but she was still breathing. Oh, thank God! Even so, I could not but worry about her right hand. It was absolutely covered in blood, and yet when I tried to grab it, my fingers slipped right through. A delusional hand? And that could only mean Nanami's right hand was...
ごめんごめん巻き込んで
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got you involved. A groan leaped from Nanami's mouth. Her face was caked in dust. I gradually, gently stroked her cheek and watched her eyelids slowly begin to open. Big bro. She finally found her big bro. Sorta. Her gaze faintly wandered for a moment before finally landing on me.
Nanami.
Nanami. And at that very moment, Nanami's expression warped and changed. Tremendous tears broke free from her eyes. Her left hand firmly grasped my own. I really hope that the Nanami root isn't an incest thing. I really hope it's not. I really hope it's not. Like, I really hope it's not gonna be like, oh, they found out she's not actually related to him, blah, 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 or something like that. Like, I really hope it's not that, because I think it'll really cheapen the story if that's what they decide to do with a Nanami root. At that very moment, Nanami's expression warped and changed. Tremendous tears broke free from her eyes. Her left hand firmly grasped my own. Big bro, big bro! She whispered to me so happily, it felt as if she never wanted to let me go. But when I heard those whispers, I responded with a slight shake of my head.
ナナミの本当のお兄は僕じゃないよ。
Are you serious, Olga? Oh, God. That's really disappointing. Maybe there's a way I could get through it faster. Oh, boy. Well, yes, he is, Mystery Theater, because he's an exact copy. Like, his body is pretty much an exact copy, so he still is. Oh, you're being sarcastic, I know, but, like, even in that, like, he still is. Nanami, your actual older brother isn't me. Huh? Uh-oh. How's she gonna react? She's gotta know this. Oh, what is this? My memories are so cloudy. That was how Nishijo Nanami felt. Her brother's words had been the trigger in her heart, and now she felt as if she had two brothers. However, what her heart told her was that it was not just as if she had two, but that she really did have two. Her mind flashed back to the past, and she remembered her two brothers' faces. One of them seemed quite pathetic, and one of them was covered in wrinkles. And yet, despite these distinctions, she was still convinced she only had a single brother. I mean, both are true. Something was not adding up. Something between her memories and her cognition. What was reality? What was illusion? She did not know, and that scared her. Oh, I assume this is not, Takumi. To escape this, she attempted to empty her mind of all thoughts. When suddenly her own voice audibly rippled outward. Nana, you need to stay strong. The next thing she knew, she was standing in a hallway illuminated by the setting sun. Oh, are we gonna learn, like, I wonder if Takumi, like, changed her brain so she wouldn't be involved. She could smell disinfectant, and before her stood a rather plain door. She reached out toward it and took hold of the handle, and then through no will of her own, her hand opened the door. Hey, this again? Are you seriously not gonna eat, big bro? How many times do I have to tell you to eat up? If you don't eat, you're never gonna get any better. Oh, jeez. Is it because of the peas? You're not a little kid anymore, big bro. When are you gonna stop being so picky? Then again, I kinda hate peas too. So if you want to leave them off to the side, I get it. But still, you've got to eat everything else. If you don't, she's gonna get really mad at me. Oh, ugh. You know that super scary head nurse? She's
Nanami.
Nanami.
Yeah?
今まで辛く当たってごめん。
So even the original Takumi was mean to her. Oh, that's sad.
I apologize for mistreating you so over the years.
Huh? It really isn't like you to apologize.
もう僕のために無理をする必要はないんだ。
You don't need to overwork yourself for my sake anymore.
I don't... Really, I'm fine with peas, but I cannot stand carrots and celery, and I don't really much like broccoli either. Those three. I only like carrots if it's in if they're shredded. But I cannot stand celery and I think probably broccoli in any form. And I absolutely despise shiitake mushrooms. They make me they make me queasy just smelling them. What are you saying?
僕は身を隠さなくちゃならなくなった。
I have to go into hiding.
だからお前は
So, because of that,
もうここには来なくていい。
you don't need to come here anymore.
To me, celery is too bitter. What are you...
さようなら。
This is goodbye.
And that was where her memories cut... Oh, and that was where her memories cut off. Those memories about her real brother. Her brother had been suffering from a serious illness, leading her to graciously spend many years tending to him in the hospital. So, you know, that is so sweet. Why do they have to go and make it all, like, ugh? Like, seriously. Why did they have to do that? Like, seriously, come on. I'm just mad about her route, you know? Like, seriously. We can't just have some sweet, wholesome, like, stuff about their sibling relationship. No matter how much time has passed, she knew she just had to stay strong so that she could best take care of him in his time of need. For the past year and a half, these things had disappeared from her memory entirely. She had forgotten that those memories had even existed. And in exchange for that, her brother continued living on in his own good health right there in Shibuya. Her mother had asked her to routinely check in on him, leading her to sometimes drop by on the way home from school. And thus she had done so, thinking nothing of it. After all, he was her brother. Checking in on him might as well have been already routine. She had never housed any doubts about it. Why did I forget all about you? Because he probably deluded her about it. I fully agree with that, Zash. I fully agree. Nearly 30 minutes had passed and she had been rescued from beneath the rubble. Oh, I'm fine with spinach. Especially baby spinach. I actually like that. I just don't like the stems. And now she had finally been reunited with her real brother. There he was, lying still on the road. He was still breathing but remained unconscious. His body was as small, wrinkled, emaciated, and incredibly weak as she remembered. It was the brother from so long ago whom she had always known. This is just too much. I spent all my time lecturing you, all of it, but... Her brother did not reply. She clung to his small body all the same, letting loose a flood of tears. Never did I ever think about forgetting you, big bro. You're so selfish. Really, how could you be this selfish? The sound of metal lightly scraping against something came from within her brother's clothes, and a moment later something slipped free from his pocket. The bangle! Oh my god. It was what Nanami had been searching for. When she lost her right hand, she'd lost it as well. Hello, Antonio. Welcome to the stream. A flimsy, cheap bangle with a snowflake motif. Confused, she stared at her real brother's face, but his eyes, buried in wrinkles, did not open in return. Nanami picked up the bangle with her left hand. She remembered how it felt to touch. It was her brother's first present to her. Nanami's greatest treasure. Nanami lifted her gaze, unconsciously searching for her older brother. He was holding a long sword and his back was turned to her. But he was walking away. He was leaving this place. Even without saying a word, Nanami could understand that much. fact that he might leave without saying even a word to her left her wrought with a terrible loneliness.
言っておいで。
Go to him.
Nanami's brow furrowed in confusion, and she softly searched around herself.
今声が。
Where did... It was her brother's voice. That much she indeed remembered. The voice of her brother whom she should have been unconscious.
彼は僕と一心同体。もう一人のお兄なんだから。
He and I are one in body and soul. He is like another brother to you.
Whether it was truly her brother's voice or mere hallucination, Nanami could not tell. And yet, regardless of which it was, she whispered all the same.
わかった。
Yeah, you're right. She whispered to her brother, who still lay on the ground. Nanami stood up and walked towards her older brother's back. She hardly had any strength left. Day after day, she had been trapped in a pitch-black room, forced to take part in some sick tableau of agonizing crucifixion. She could not even remember how many times she had thought she would die. Her right hand in particular caused her tremendous amounts of pain, as if a chisel was being stuck into it all the way to the bone. The sensation that she lacked her hand, together with the illusion that it still remained, were tearing her mind in two. It's called a phantom limb, Seiya. It's a real thing that people get because of the way your brain is wired to receive nerve signals. Like your brain gets mixed signals about a hand something's supposed to be being there at the same time not. It's what happens when people lose their limbs. Like it sometimes feels as if they still have it, because of how our brains are wired. And it takes time for the brain to rewire itself to realize that that limb is gone. She was exhausted, both mentally and physically. If she lost focus, there was no doubt she would fall to the ground, too drained to get back up again. Therefore, she had to make a desperate effort to reach her hand out at this very instant. Even if it took more effort than she could give, she would do everything in her power to make him stop.
待って。
Wait! She narrowly managed to squeeze something out, and thankfully he had heard. He halted his stride and looked back toward Nanami. Even though she had managed to stop him, she was lost in what exactly to say to him. It's okay, Olga. It's okay. You can go get something. The reality that this person was not her brother at all. The conviction that this person was her brother to the end. These two feelings had blended together in her head, making them even harder to discern. But she gripped her bangle tightly in the left hand. It had been his gift to her. One that felt cold to the touch, but warm to the heart. The very existence of this bangle linked both him and her together. That was how she felt. And that answer was all she needed. Her hesitation instantly faded.
お兄は本当のお兄じゃないかもしれないけど
Big bro, even though you might not actually be my brother,
頼りにならなくてたくさんでアニメキャラもお人形さんばっかり集めてて
you're not very reliable. You're a total nerd, always collecting anime doll things.
口が悪くて愛想もなくて意地悪なことばっかり言うけど
Okay, jeez. And you say a lot of mean things and are never really nice to people and pretty much always rude, but
お兄もナナのお兄だよ
you're still my big brother. Trying her hardest to fight back her tears, Nanami smiled as best she could.
ありがとう、ナナミ。
I thank you, Nanami.
Upon gazing at his expression, she also saw that her other brothers seemed a little embarrassed. And with that, relief washed over Nanami, before slowly putting her consciousness to rest. Nanami nearly collapsed, and I hurriedly went to catch her. She lost consciousness. Her face was pale, and she was clearly having trouble breathing.
早く病院に運ばないとこのままじゃ危ないわ。
We need to get her to the hospital right away. She's losing an awful lot of blood. The hefty woman who had introduced herself as Momose peered at Nanami's face as she voiced her concern. Next, she turned to Shogun.
そっちに寝かせてる子もね。
The same goes for the boy resting there. I decided to leave Nanami in Momose-san's care.
2人を頼みます。
Keep them safe, please.
あなたはどうするの？
What are you gonna do?
探さなくちゃいけない人がいて。
There's someone I need to find. So I could learn the whereabouts of NOaH too. I had asked Nanami since she had been taken there when she was kidnapped, but she wasn't too sure of it herself. In the end, I had no choice but to find Hatano.
必要なことなのねグラジオールを倒すため
Is this something you truly must do? To overthrow Gladio?
グラジオールか。
Gladio. Place that with NOaH too, and
そうだよ。
Yeah, I do.
Icy's expression stiffened. She took a single step towards me. But the way she slightly dragged her leg, I could tell she had genuinely been injured.
一緒に行くわ私も
Are we on the ISA route? Then I will follow. Take me with you.
その必要はないよ。
You don't have to do that. Even though I tried to tell her no, she only shook her head in refusal.
一に集まらないと
The seven must all gather.
綾瀬もそれにユアも畑野っていう人を探してほしい。
I see. I want you and YEAH to find someone for me. Their name is Hatano. At the mere mention of her name, YEAH jumped a little from her hiding spot behind Momose.
その人がノア2の場所知ってるから。
I need you to find them because they know where to find NOaH too.
一緒に行動しなくても僕はみんなの見聞きしたことがわかる。
Even if we don't search together, I'll still know everything you see and hear.
だから今は手分けして探して。
So let's split up and start looking. That was the best option we had at the moment, and we had to be quick about it. There was no guarantee we'd be safe if another earthquake struck.
わかった。
Understood. Aise seemed to agree with me, though she didn't look all too happy about it.
なんだかよくわからないけど、
I'm not quite sure I follow.
野呂瀬源一が全ての黒幕です。
Norose Ganichi had been behind it all since the very beginning. He's the mastermind.
そういうこと。
So that's how it is.
それなら妹さんたちのことは私に任せなさいな。
And please go do what you need to do. I'll take care of everyone else here. Mimose-san puffed out her chest and displayed bravado. And then she gave me a quick nod, likely in an attempt to cheer me on.
ただし、無茶しちゃダメよ。
Just don't do anything rash.
それと一つ頼まれてほしいんだけど。
And one more favor, if you don't mind.
ばんちゃん、ヘラヘラ笑ってるうさんくさそうな中年刑事を見たら、私に連絡するように伝えてくれる？
If you happen to run into Bunch, into a seedy-looking detective with a goofy grin, could you please tell him to contact me? Oh, he did a Google search of the world and he found, oh boy. Did she mean Bon Yasuji? Oh man. I knew all about how he had died. He had been shot and killed by his own partner. I had unconsciously seen it all unfold. I fully intended to tell Momose-san this, but
まったく、あの人はこんな時にどこをほっつき歩いてるんだか。
seriously, what could he possibly be doing at a time like this?
まあ、案外どこかで怪我人を助けてるのかもしれないけどね。
Well, that man is full of surprises. So maybe he decided to stop and help out some of the wounded. Momose had to go and say something like that. Now I could no longer bring myself to tell her the truth.
というわけでよろしく。
Well, you better get going. Thank you.
はい。
Yeah. Without meaning to, had nodded, making a promise I'd never be able to keep. But that had been the only answer I could have ever thought to make.
西条くん。
Nishijo-kun? With her head lowered, Yua spoke with a barely audible voice. For a good while now, she'd been nervously taking peeks at me, which made me think that she had something to say.
あなたのこと疑ってごめんなさい。
I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
私、西条くんを傷つけるようなこと言って。
And that I ever said such hurtful things to you. The lenses of her glasses were covered in dust, and yet I knew very well that behind them her eyes were wet with tears.
謝っても許してもらえるとは思ってないです。
Even if I apologize, after everything I did, it would never be enough.
それでも謝らせてください。
But even so, I still want to apologize anyway.
ごめんなさい。
I'm so sorry. She bowed her head deeply. I didn't reply. All I did was turn my back to her. This Sarah figures, the one in my base.
はい。
Yes?
よかったらもらってくれる？
Ah! Fuck yeah, Taku! If you want. Could you take them off my hands? Huh? Back when she deceived me, I couldn't have been more shocked. Now I understood why she'd done what she'd done. Alright, okay, none of that. No misunderstandings now then. So it just felt wrong to say I forgive you or something along those lines. It was my fault. It was true, I always thought of her as my enemy. I had no right to make her bow to me or any right to forgive her.
いいんですか？
Are you sure?
もらってほしい。
Yeah, I want you to have them.
はい。
Alright.
はい。
Alright.
また一緒にフィギュア買いに行きましょうね。
Sometime in the future, let's go buy some new ones together. And with that, you put on the same gentle smile she always
had when we first met. I nodded to her in response. I exchanged look with both Ayase and Momose-san, and I etched the image of Nanami and Shogun into my eyes one last time. And so I began walking alone amongst the mountains of rubble once again.
Okay. Right. Yeah, things are... We're seeing some final character closure events here. Hoo boy. I think this is probably as close. I don't want to push my throat too hard, so I think this is a good place to stop for now, right here. Because we are throttling headfirst into the end game. Probably, I'm guessing it's gonna be 2 more streams before we reach the end of the route here. Before we reach the end of this route. It's maybe 1, probably 2 more. Yeah, it's it, because chapter 9 was extra long. Or I think 1 was an extra save I made. The scene takes forever? Okay, good. Okay. Thanks, Olga. So, yeah. Either next time or the time after, we will reach the ending of a route. And then we'll go back and see, you know, some of the differences. The other routes probably won't take nearly as long because I imagine there's a lot of repeated material. So we're going to go through them and see what's in there. Some may be faster than others, if you get my meaning. But, yeah, I am super excited to see the neutral ending, which I am assuming what we're heading towards. So yeah, this has been a really awesome story. So until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.